did you know that our cute little spinner here can be used for other things other than just your spin positions? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to practice twizzles on them. So first off, twizzles, what are they? Basically, it's like double 3 turns. So inside edge, outside edge, inside edge, outside edge, or the other way around, and you go along the ice. So that's where it differs with spins. It's kind of like spinning, but you deliberately travel. So on a spin, you stay on one point of the blade and your blade is doing a little circle like this. And on a twizzle, your blade is doing edge turn, edge turn, edge turn like that. But you don't want to block the rotation and have a look going like this as you do it. You need it to keep moving at the same speed like that. So that is the key difference. So how are we going to go about practicing this forward inside twizzle? I'm going to stand on my spinner and I'm going to go through 3 positions first. Start position, left arm forward, stood on the right leg, left leg back here, right arm out to the side over here, and I'm going to do position 1, my turning position, position 2, position 3, coming out. So all we do is we practice this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like this, and get used to the position we'll be in. So what we then do is we add the rotation in. Now an actual twizzle will look like this. Position 1, position 2, position 3. Position 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's how you go through a twizzle on your spinner. Now some points that will help make your twizzles actually a lot better and things that will translate to the ice are the basics. First off, your standing leg. You don't want your standing leg to be bent like this. So we're not doing twizzles down here like that. You don't want to be locked out as much as you possibly can like this. You don't want a stiff twizzle like that. It's going to be really hard. So your leg is reasonably straight and a little bit relaxed like this. So there, that's the position that you'll be in. Now for the upper body, we are going to lift up the core. We are going to use the muscles in our core to maintain a lifted position like this, and we're going to lift our head up right through the top of our head to make a nice big lifted position. We're going to do that because it's going to make everything stable. If we relax here and try and twizzle, everything is going to be throwing around like that. So if I lift up like this and keep it like that, I'm much more over a central point. You want to imagine that you have a stick running down through your body completely straight. You're in a complete straight position. That way, as I turn, you see I'm on one spot like this. I'm completely over myself. If at any point I'm broken like that, my weight's getting thrown out of the circle. When the weight is thrown out of the circle, it increases the chance of hitting an edge and hitting the deck in return. So we need to make sure that we are completely upright when we are turning like this. Now remember that when you're spinning on the ice, you would be spinning on one point like this and going around in a small circle. Now when you are doing a twizzle, you will go over the front of the blade to go from forwards to backwards, and then you will go over the back of the blade to go from backwards to forwards. And that's really important to remember, because if you always leave your weight on the front of the blade as you do it, you will catch an edge and you will hit the deck, and we don't want that. If you leave it on the back, when you try and go from forwards to backwards, you leave the weight back here, you will catch the blade at the quarter point, you'll hit the deck. We don't want that. So what we have to do is make sure it goes forwards and then backwards when you go from forwards to backwards and then backwards to forwards. But an important thing to note is you don't want a big movement like this on the blade. It's a very subtle one with the twizzle. It just does a little bit like that. If you have a big movement of the blade, that adds a big movement of the upper body back and forth like this, and it increases the chance of slowing your rotations down, shifting your weight too much, catching an edge, falling, many negative points. You need a very subtle movement of the blade as you do it. So when we get comfortable doing the single rotations on the forward inside twizzle, we can actually go for 2. We set up the same way and like this. Now you don't just have to stick to doing this position in the twizzles. I find it's a good starter position of feeling your balance. Ultimately, you're going to want to do something a little nicer when you go to do it on the ice. And we have different variations you can do. So some examples of some different variations we can get working on. For example, we can start here and come into this position and then come out, or we can start here and come into this position and then come out. We can take the arms up over our head. 1, 2, 3. You can do many different types of arm movements. This is a good starting movement. It's the same as you could do the penguin as well as a good starting movement. I like this as it helps me feel if I'm dipping one side or the other. But I can do the same exercise practicing different arm movements like so. 1, the simple arm in front, other arm in front, arms overhead. Now once you've got comfortable doing the forward inside twizzle going both directions, we can practice all the other twizzles on the spinner as well. And you practice them the same way like you would doing the forward inside. If I do the forward outside, I pretend I'm on the forward outside edge here, and I turn and I come out like this. And I can practice it easily the other way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I can practice backward outside. I imagine that I'm skating backwards on a backward outside edge like this, and I'm going to turn and out, and coming in, turn, out. I can take the arms up on it if I want to, in here, turn up, out. Like that. I can also practice backward inside twizzle. So I imagine that I do push, cross, and I'm in this position, the backward crossover, and I turn and out. So I do push, I come through with a cross here, and I rotate and out. You see, there's so many different versions you can practice. The spinner is very good for practicing twizzles. Now, one final thing I'd like to note is don't worry too much about trying to rock it from forwards to backwards and all this sort of thing. With this exercise, we are just practicing the feeling of rotating the body and what position we want to hit in it. We want to feel those forces and we want to get used to that, because then when you get on the ice, all you're having to deal with is the fear aspect of trying the twizzle, moving across the ice, which is quite high if you have a lot of speed going across the ice and quite challenging. But if you're used to controlling the position on the spinner, your body knows what position it should be holding, you're going to have an edge on trying it compared to if you're going in the first time and learning everything from scratch. Now, if you like practicing with the spinner and you want to have more help with your spins and your twizzles and your turns using it, you should join some of our Zoom classes. We have a lot of students practicing with us and they have a lot of fun, and we teach them a lot about how they can take their spins and twizzles and turns to the next level using the spinner. Now, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video covering using the spinner to do twizzles. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment down below, let us know what you think of it. And if you want to see more videos, exclusive videos, get feedback on your skating, check out our Patreon page. We have a growing community of skaters there who are helping each other all learn together and have fun.